I'm excited to be here this morning, and it might be a little Halloween hangover. I don't know about you guys. I had a lot of candy last night, so if the energy's kind of, moving, just let me know. Like, hey, slow down a little bit. Had a lot of chocolate. My daughter thought it was for her, but it's actually for me. Since I'm Santa Claus, that's how she gets all the candy for Christmas and Valentine's Day, and we tend to reuse that a lot. But I was having a conversation with Janny yesterday whenever I came in, and I was like, a podium. I was like, man, because I like to use the stage, and God only blessed me to be 5'7", so podiums are never really great for me, but I will do my best to make sure that I am moving outside, interacting with you all this morning. So employee engagement is huge. It's something that is at the cornerstone of every single company and organization that's out there. But we've seen in recent years, employee engagement numbers are shoddy at best, right? 15%, 20% engagement, and that's on a worldwide scale, where you've got the rest of individuals who are disengaged from the work that they do, or actively disengaged, meaning they're like ready to sabotage what's going on. Anyone in here seen Office Space? There we go, right? Yeah, and you got people trying to steal staplers and do all crazy Miltons, like, some cake, right? That's exactly what's happening in our workplace as well, where you have individuals who are disengaged. So what I am going to be speaking to you all about today is how do we begin to create Generation 1? And that has everything to do with maximizing the gifts and the talents that each and every individual has within a company and organization. So, as I get started, I'm up here for 60 minutes. I'm not going to be able to solve everything in 60 minutes. And with that, I'm going to give you guys a wine flight. Has anybody here ever had a wine flight before? Anybody familiar with wine flights? Okay, some people. For the other individuals who are not familiar with wine flights gives you an opportunity to be able to test some different wines, right? Some different grapes from different regions at different altitudes. You have an opportunity to be able to taste different things, and that's what I want to give to you all today, some tastes. Because I don't want to get you drunk. It's early. So I just want to get you guys buzzing a little bit, right? Where you're feeling good, you're kind of warm inside. And I mean, if you do a flight right, you can have a nice little buzz until the afternoon, okay? So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up as to what we are going to be diving into. And I'm going to dive into some very meaty modules. But like I said, I'm going to give you all a flight. I'm going to give you a taste, okay? So if I promise to get you all buzzing, I've got to get a promise from you all. And the promise that I need from you all is that you all are going to interact with me, okay? Okay, can we do that? Some nods, kind of. Okay, fine. Since we're still a little sleepy, then now we're going to have to do an exercise. You see? You guys brought it on yourself. So I think about my daughter, right? My little girl, I don't know if there are any parents out here, but children have an amazing way of shining a mirror so that you can see the things that you're good at, the things that you're not so good at, right? And one of the things that she constantly tells me is, Dad, why do you say, oh, yeah, so much? And I was like, what do you mean, baby? And she was like, Dad, you're always saying, oh, yeah. And I was like, I guess I never really thought about it. But as I began to think about it a little bit more, I realized that the reason I say, oh, yeah, so much is because it's so versatile, right? Someone could call you with some sad news. Man, I had a really rough day at work today. Oh, yeah? Or someone could call you with some really hype news. Man, we about to get turned up tonight. You're like, oh yeah, right? So as that is mine, I would like for you all to say, oh yeah, back to me so we can get the juices flowing. Sound good? Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Oh yeah? There we go. All right. So like I said, a wine flight. I'm going to give you all some tastes. But before we can jump into the flight, we've got to do a little bit of interaction already, right? So I am the generation architect. As you can see right here, we've got B, X, Y, Z. Anybody understand what that means? These are the generations, right? We've got boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, i.e. millennials, and then, of course, right after us, Generation Z. So how many boomers do we have here in the crowd? If you consider yourself a boomer, okay. What about Gen X? Gen X, where you at? There we go. In my generation, Gen Y, millennials, where you at? Okay, fuel y'all. Okay, so here's what I am going to need. Well, let me at least ask. Anyone in Gen Z? Didn't think so. But you always like to ask questions because they are starting to get closer and closer into getting into the workforce. So, my baby boomers, can I have 2 volunteers who are baby boomers? If you could please stand up. I just need 2. Okay, boom. We've got 1 and 2 right here. Generation X, I need 2 from Gen X to represent Gen X. Oh, come on, Gen X. Don't be shy. Thank you. There we go. Okay, 1, 2 right here. And then my millennials. Can I get 2 Gen Y? 2 from Gen Y, 1, 2, there we go. All right. So, in this exercise, I am actually going to ask my agent, Montye, can you do me a favor? Write this information down for me. I'll be sure to use that here in a little bit. So, we're going to start with our baby boomers. We're going to move to Gen X, and then we're going to move to Gen Y. Here's what I'm looking for. Give me 2 redeeming qualities that you possess. Everybody understand that? I know it's early. It's early. Everybody understand. 2 redeeming qualities that you possess. We'll start with the boomers. Go on ahead.
Savers.
One more time. Savers. That's 1. What's your second?
Very forgiving.
Forgiving. Okay. Savers, forgiving. Gen X?
Cautious optimism.
Cautious optimism. You got that? Cautious optimism. Okay. My second Gen Xer.
Organizational loyalty.
Organizational loyalty. Organizational loyalty. I didn't know everybody was going to be throwing out $3 million words this morning. I love it, though. I love it. I'm not mad at it. I love it. I love it. All right. Millennials, you guys got something to live up to. You 2 gentlemen, who wants to go first? Resilience. Resilience. And last but not least? Problem solver. Problem solver. All right, can we get a hand for our volunteers, please? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and Montye, I'm going to do something very millennial. Please text that to me. I promise this list is going to make sense here in a little bit. So like I said, let's jump into a little bit of the history, though. Right? Because I think a lot of times we tend to talk about generations and we don't really understand, number 1, how we define them, number 2, why we talk about generations so much, and number 3, why we have the perspectives that we have. Because I think that is one of the most key and critical areas that we really need to touch on and tap into. So baby boomers, born between the years of 1946 to 1964. Baby boomers are actually very, very interesting. And the reason why baby boomers are so interesting is because it was at the end of World War II. Maybe 9 months after the end of World War II, we heard the first babies crying, right? Their parents are the greatest generation, i.e. the GIs. These were the individuals who are over fighting World War II. They come back. As soon as they come back, it's time to get it on, right? So they have an amazing time as soon as they come back. In fact, from the years 1954 to 1964, there were 4 million babies born every single year. 76.4 million baby boomers. It's a huge population, right? Baby boomers opposed the war, the Vietnam War, right? You've got free love. You got a lot of things going on and happening with the baby boomers. Next up, we have Generation X. Generation X, 1965 to 1980, right? Gen X. Gen X. The interesting thing about Generation X is a lot of times they feel like the middle child, right? Kind of stuck between 2 generations. Yeah, exactly. I hear it. Yeah. Exactly. It happens every single time I go into this, right? I hear it from everybody in Gen X. You all feel like you all are the middle child or the stepchild or the forgotten generation, but I'm here to tell you, you're not. In fact, we need you, just like we need the baby boomers as well. And a lot of people tend to ask me, well, why is Generation X so much smaller than the baby boomers? And there's 2 critical reasons why. The first, birth control became widely available in the early 1960s. The second, abortion was legalized in 1973. There's a reason why Generation X is not as large as baby boomers. But Generation X is so interesting. Because Generation X was also known as the latchkey kids, right? You've got the divorce rate doubling in the 60s to the 70s. Now you've got broken homes, and you have mothers who are now in the workforce. That actually doubled from the 60s all the way until 1996. And a lot of those households were headed by single parents. So you've got Generation X who essentially had to almost grow up by themselves, being independent, having a lot of household chores, taking care of the home and the family, right? Younger siblings. So Generation X has a very interesting perspective. But how do we now begin to effortlessly recruit and retain top talent? If we've got all of these different generations, how do we begin to recruit and retain top talent? So this is the first taste on our flight this morning. And what I will tell you is that top talent recruits top talent. So we've got the NBA season that just started. I don't know how excited you all are, but I'm super excited. We got a lot of mega teams now. We got LeBron James and D-Wade back together in Cleveland. We've got Steph Curry and Kevin Durant still down at Golden State, right? We've got Carmelo Anthony. We have Russell Westbrook. We have Paul George down at Oklahoma City. We've got all of these mega teams. And you say to yourself, well, how does that happen? And it's because top talent recruits top talent. In fact, I want you guys to say that back to me. Top talent recruits what? Top talent recruits what? Top talent recruits top talent. So why do I talk about millennials so much? Is it me being narcissistic, right? Because we get that all the time, right? Millennials, you guys are so narcissistic. Millennials, the me generation, you guys only care about yourself. Maybe. Or could it be the fact that millennials are now 1 in 3 American workers? Could it be the fact that there are 80 million millennials here in the US alone? Could it be the fact that millennials are now the largest living generation? Could it be the fact that millennials are extremely misunderstood? That's what's going on, and that's what's happening right now. So I want to share a story with you. I was at Jason's Deli not too long ago having lunch. I don't know if you guys like Jason's Deli. I like Jason's Deli. I think Jason's Deli is really good. And as I was there, I was sitting down. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues. She is a part of the National Speakers Association, and we're having a good time. We're chatting, we're discussing, and all of a sudden this woman sits down with her husband. She has a salad. And I don't know about you guys, but Jason's Deli has some really dope salads, right? Like you can make a salad into like a full course meal at Jason's Deli, right? She sits down and she's got her bowl, she's got her salad going, she's got the eggs, she's got her croutons, she's got a little piece of watermelon on the side. I was like, man, she set this thing up, right? I said, okay, you're gonna get all your money out of this salad bar, I see. I said, all right. And as she sits down, she then grabs her dressing and she begins to just kind of sauce up her salad, right? And I'm looking and I'm like, look at this motion. She's very meticulous with the way she's putting this on. Like she's layering it on like a Twix commercial. You guys seen the Twix commercial when they're layering on the caramel, right? She's just layering it on, and I'm like, man, okay. And then she moves stuff out the way. And then she does this. I said, what's going on with that, right? So sure enough, I walked up to her and I was like, hello, I don't mean to disturb you in your beautiful salad because this looks absolutely amazing. But my name is Koy. I'm the generation architect. I work with Fortune 500 companies, helping them to maximize their multi-generational teams. And I noticed that you got this salad going on. and you look like you were about to take a picture and post this to, social media. She looks up at me and she says, yeah, I was. I said, oh, okay. Do you mind if I ask you the question, why? She said, yeah, sure. I'll tell you why. I want to post my salad to a group chat, actually, because my daughter just texted me last night and told me that she had an embryo stick because she's going through in vitro, and I text her a picture of this salad to let her know I'm now eating healthier because I am going to be around longer to be able to see my grandchildren. And I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing, wow. But you said you were posting this to social media, right? And she said, yeah, and I said, okay. What social media are you posting this to? She said, Instagram. I said, are you kidding me? She said, no. And I'm posting it to the group text. I said, oh, well, you go on with your bad self, right? As I was sitting and I was watching this, it dawned on me that there's a shift that's happening. How many people in here remember not being able to call someone after 9 p.m.? Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Everybody had that. I remember I had the biggest issue with that because, I got all these ladies in middle school, and I was like, Mom, what's up? Can we have it? My mom was like, you better not call anybody after 9, and there better not be any girls calling after 9 either, Koy. And I was like, all right, Mom, all right, calm down, not a problem, right? But that was something that used to trickle down, right? Those were things that used to trickle down. Now, not that big of a deal. People have cell phones, right? You're not afraid of waking up someone's mom or grandmother or grandfather or anything like that, right? Things have changed, things are shifting. So things are no longer trickling down, they are now beginning to permeate up. So let me share another story with you. 2009, I have my little girl, beautiful little girl, so excited. But the timing was a little off, right? I was still in college when I had her, and I'm saying to myself, how are you gonna make this work, right? So it's 2009, my mom's over in Saudi Arabia. She comes back into the country. Everyone is now coming down because I'm graduating. And as I'm graduating, everybody's coming down and everybody's having a good time. And sure enough, my mom, she's there, right? New granddaughter, she's taking pictures, right? And she's just, here we go, boom, right? Oh my God, hold on. Oh, there it is. Flash wasn't on, hold on, right? And the flash is warming up. And I'm like, come on, Mom, like, what's going on? Sure enough, I come up and I'm like, all right. Boom, I'm taking my picture. Boom, I adjust the exposure. Boom, here we go. All right, great. As my mom is leaving, I'll never forget this. She asked me the question, Koy, can we go and print these pictures off? I'm like, what? Mom, no, we're not going to be able to go and print these pictures off. And she was like, what are you talking about? How am I going to be able to get these photos? I said, Mom, I already uploaded these to Facebook. And she looks at me. And in this very bewildered face, she says, what's a Facebook? Right? What's a Facebook? And I turned and I looked at her and I was like, Mom, like, are you kidding me? You don't know what Facebook is? She was like, no, I have no clue what Facebook is. So we sat down and we set up an account for her. Again, things are no longer trickling down, things are permeating up. We've got the younger generations now beginning to influence what we're doing. So things are no longer trickling down, they're permeating. Oh, come on, you guys gotta wake up this morning. Things are no longer trickling down, they're permeating. Thank you. So yeah, we like our selfies, right? But so do y'all. So do each and every one of you, right? Like I said before, things are no longer trickling down, they're permeating up. I think this next one is actually really interesting, and it has everything to do with nomophobia. Is anyone familiar with nomophobia? Here we go, right? Nomophobia. Because one of the biggest myths of the millennial generation, in fact, I'm going to pose this question. Millennials are tech what? tech savvy. Look, and I mean, like we said that in unison. Millennials are tech savvy. One of the biggest myths out there. One of the biggest myths out there. We don't know how this works, right? But we know that we need it. Millennials are not tech savvy. Millennials are tech dependent. And that completely changes things when it comes to the way we converse, when it comes to the way that we want to receive communication, how often we want to receive communication, right? Once you begin to flip that switch, it changes. Oh, we're having some tech because nomophobia is real. If you don't know about nomophobia, nomophobia is the fear of being without your cell phone, right? Or the fear of losing signal. Has anyone been somewhere and you're like, man, I can't wait to, damn, it's nothing, huh? Okay. I am in airplane mode and I'm not on a damn airplane. How does that happen, right? And you get all stressed out and you're like, what if somebody tries to call me? What if someone needs me? How does this work? Nomophobia. Nomophobia. And the crazy thing is, it's not just millennials. I remember my mom came home and she was stressed out because she could not find her phone because she left it on silent. And she said, Koy, what do I do? Like, I can't find it. And I was like, oh my God, right? It's crazy because again, things are not trickling down, they're permeating up. So as top talent recruits what? Come on. As top talent recruits what? You've got to remember some of these things. So I typically get the question, well, as top talent recruits top talent, how do we recruit more millennials? Well, let me tell you. There's a CPI Index. And this CPI Index, the C stands for culture, the P stands for purpose, and the I stands for impact. This is what millennials care about. Culture, purpose, impact. Where do you score? Right? Where do you score on these things? Culture matters because we want to be a part of a community. We want to have dynamic individuals around us because people don't leave brands and companies, they leave people. If you think about your last company, think about why you left. Sure, you can say, oh man, the brand was terrible. Oh, the company was, what is the company if it's not the people? It's probably that manager that kept riding you, right? Like, I gotta get out of here, man. That's what's going on, right? Culture. P, purpose. What is your company doing to better the world? What is your company doing to better the community, right? Because before, when we had baby boomers and Gen Xers, everything was about willpower. It was about pushing yourself, staying at a job that you might not like. Pushing yourself and knowing and understanding that this is what I have to do. And that's now shifting to why power. Why am I doing this? Why does this matter to me? Which moves me to the I, which is impact. What kind of impact am I going to have at this company? How am I going to impact the world? So again, let's move on to flight 2, right? Like I said, I'm going to get you guys buzzing. And I know that this one is something that is huge in every organization. Eliminating multi-generational tension. So I'd like for you all to do me a favor and indulge me. I'd like for you all to close your eyes. It won't take too long. I promise no one will slap you. This will be the first break that you'll probably take all morning. So go on ahead and indulge in it. Just close your eyes for just a moment. And by a show of hands, how many individuals can imagine a color that they have never seen before? It's not many, right? All right, open your eyes. We didn't have too many people raise their hands to that question. And I'm going to come back to that question because that question is vitally important. And the reason why that question is vitally important is because from today, every single day until 2030, more than 10,000 individuals will turn 65. I'll say that one more time. From today, every single day, more than 10,000 people will turn 65. Somebody might have turned 65 today. Any birthdays in here today? Right? And why does that matter? The reason why that matters is because if you all turn 65 and all of the information that you have stays right here, then what happens? Right? What happens? You all are ready, right? Count down the days to retirement. I know you all are ready to go. I know there's some people in here that's saying, I can't wait. I'm ready to get out of here right now. Sign me up for my retirement plan. But we have to make sure that the things that we have are going to be able to work whenever you all leave. Because we've got an older generation saying, y'all just don't get it. This is common sense. And we've got a younger generation saying, y'all just don't get it. This is common sense. We're saying the same words, but we're speaking a completely different language. So what are some things that we can do to counteract that? Number one, succession planning. Number two, reverse mentoring. So this one's always really tasty for people who are in HR. How do we create a workplace where employees are actually eager and excited to come to work, right? People who can't wait to put their clothes on in the morning because they're like, man, I'm about to go to work. I like how y'all are laughing. That's how I feel. I feel that way every single morning. When I have an opportunity to do this, I can't wait to go to work. I get a chance to put some clothes on. I'm looking good. Hey, let's go. But that's exactly what every employer is looking for. How do we now begin to excite our employees to where they're eager and they want to come to work? Does anybody know who this is? No? Okay, well, so it's okay. She's not here, because then that could have got real awkward, right? Everyone was like, oh, who's that? I don't know who that is. You know who that is? She's not here. It's okay. This is actually a former colleague of mine at Apple. She was the managing director there at Apple. Her name is Bozoma St. John, and she's now the new Chief Brand Officer of Uber. But one of the things that I love about Boz is she mentioned something that a lot of employers are still missing. And it's this, that she wants to bring her whole self to work. Not just part of me, right? My whole self to work. How many individuals out here have multiple social media platforms? Right? A lot of us, right? But what do? As employers, we only want the LinkedIn you, right? That's the only part of you we want. But we have to become comfortable with allowing individuals to bring their whole self to work. You can't just get the LinkedIn me. You got to take the Facebook me, the Twitter me, the Snapchat me, you know. You got to take all of me. Because we've created this illusion of separation. How many people in here have heard of work-life balance? Right? Everybody. We've created this illusion of separation. We've created this illusion that there is something that is different between the two, between work and between life. I'm here to tell you that there's not. In fact, let me break this down a little bit more. If something is not going well at work, I guarantee you it affects your life. And if something is not going well at home, I guarantee it affects the way you work. There is no separation There's a reason why you're on vacation and you're still answering emails. There's a reason why you're at work and you're trying to figure out how to pick up the little one from school. There is an illusion of separation. Both of those things are one and the same, which is why it is vitally important for you to do something that you love, which is why I'm here today to reignite you and empower you to remember the reason that you started here at Austin Energy. And think about the impact that you want to have in the future. Because work and life are on the same plane. So we had some volunteers earlier. Can I get my volunteers up here? I know we had these two. Can I get you all to stand up and come up? My two Gen Xers, can I get you all to stand up and come up? My two Millennials. All right, can we give them applause while they're coming up here, kind of motivate them a little bit? Here we go. All right, awesome. So I will need two individuals here on the stage right here, and then I will need the other two individuals out here because we're going to make a circle, okay? So one here, and can I get one more here, please? Perfect. And then you all are going to make a circle, okay? Is anyone familiar with what this is? Anyone seen one of these before? All right. It's not a spirit stick. That'd be close, right? It's not a spirit stick. This is actually an energy stick. Okay? So what I would like for you all to do, Carla, Timothy, Fred, Derek, Joshua, Chad, can you all hold hands for me? Okay. Now, I would like for you all to raise your hands to just kind of like shoulder width. There we go, right? Because I want to make sure that everyone can see your hands. So I'm going to give this, Chad, I'm going to give you one end. Hold that. And I'm going to give you the other. Right? Derek, I would like for you to let go of Fred's hand, please. Derek, grab Fred's hands again. Joshua, I would like for you to let go of Chad's hand. Grab his hand again. Thank you. Can we get a round of applause for them really quickly? The reason I love this is because the mere fact that each and every one of us is just energy changes the game. Because the silos that we continue to put ourselves in do nothing but separate us. They do nothing but pull us apart. But just as Montye sent me that text about all of the amazing qualities that we have, savers, forgiving, a cautious optimism, organizational loyalty, resilience, and problem solving, imagine if just like we did, we could bring all of those together. Because the value that each and every one of us brings to the organization, the value that each and every one of us brings to the world is our difference. And it's time to begin to embrace that and to use that to continue to move us forward. Not have that tear us apart. Because the crazy thing is, when I say the word baby boomer, something happens, right? Something happens on the inside. There is an emotion that you have when you hear the word baby boomer. When you go into the hotel and you see the millennial in hospitality, you say, oh man, dog it, right? Something happens. There's an emotion that you have, right? All of a sudden, you already have a thought and a feeling come up. And the reason that I had asked the question earlier about if you can imagine a color that you've never seen before is because if it's difficult for you to imagine a color that you have never seen before, it's difficult for you to go from the known into the unknown. And what does that mean? That means that you continue to bring your same thoughts, your same perspective, your same views into every single conversation that you have. And what does that create in the workplace? Tension. Why? Because you don't know me. You know nothing about me. So how can you already know me? What makes the glass valuable is the empty space that it possesses. But so many people are walking around with their glass so full, you can't put anything in it. They know it all. So as you all are moving through the rest of today and moving through the rest of your careers, continue to remember that there is a way that you can form Generation 1, and it has everything to do with the value you bring to your company being your difference. Thank you. So I'll open it up for questions, if anybody has any questions. Again, just to remind you about the modules, we've got effortlessly recruit and retain top talent. We have eliminating the multi-generational tension. And then, of course, we have creating an engaging work experience. So what questions do you all have? I know I wasn't that good. Yes, sir.
You mentioned reverse mentoring.
Yes.
What is that?
Sure. Great question. Reverse mentoring has everything to do with beginning to pair individuals who have a different skill set. A lot of times the way that we see it happening, and the way that I've seen it happen with a lot of my clients, is they will take executives and pair them with entry-level individuals. Because typically these entry-level individuals are going to be a lot younger, probably going to be fresh out of college, and they're gonna have a skill set in something that this executive does not. But the great thing is, then you have all the experience, the interpersonal skills, right? The way now to be able to communicate with individuals, and then you've got some of the skills that this younger individual knows. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's marketing, and you pair those individuals so that you will now have this cross-pollination that's happening. Because one of the things that I hear every single time, man, you millennials, you guys just want to come in and from day one be the CEO. That used to be called ambition. Now it's a problem. But really what it comes down to is the quickest way to take the wind out of someone's sails who is ambitious is to stifle them. To not give them any options to grow or move, to not invest in them. So with reverse mentoring, you now have an opportunity to be able to increase the acumen of the executive and be able to increase the acumen of the entry-level individual. Make sense? What other questions do we have?
What did you say before that? You said something before
Before reverse mentoring. Yes. So what I said before reverse mentoring is succession planning. Right? Succession planning is huge. Because again, with 10,000 individuals turning 65 every single day from now until 2030, we are going to have the largest generation of elderly people that this country has ever seen. Because the boomers were 76.4 million people. And boomers are living longer nowadays, right? With the technology, you're living longer, you're having an opportunity to do a whole lot more. Succession planning is going to be huge. How can we begin to cross-pollinate, right? How can we now begin to, again, teach the information that that individual who is about to retire is about to leave with? Because if you don't start succession planning now, when someone leaves, what happens to the organization? What happens to the company? What happens to the effectiveness and the efficiency of your business? It goes right out the door. One more and then I got you. One more time?
making plans to doing that. From what I understand at Austin Energy,
Wow.
What would you recommend?
The first thing that I would recommend, because this is definitely going to be a deeper conversation and a deeper discussion, and I look forward to having that with you all. The first thing that I would recommend is I would first recommend putting all of those managers together and putting together best practices. Put together a management roundtable to where you've got managers from all of the different departments, that are represented, that can sit down, that can begin to put together best practices on efficiency, on the way to make things effective. More importantly, just telling you about my job. We as human beings are self-centered people. You all can keep pushing it on millennials, but everybody cares about themselves, right? I don't have time to think about your job. I'm too busy doing my job. A lot of us don't even know what the other person does. Here we are at a conference, and I'm sure you all probably are sitting with people that you know. Intermingle, cross-pollination, that's huge. The first place that I would start is getting leadership together, getting management together, and then from there, setting out a plan. I know you had a question.
Yes, can you talk a little bit more about the CPI Index?
Sure. So the CPI Index is something that we do for our clients and our customers. And again, it has everything to do with the culture, everything to do with purpose, and has everything to do with the impact. And the reason that we really focus on the CPI Index is because of this 80 million plus workforce that's coming, right? By 2025, millennials will make up 75% of the workforce, right? 80 million strong. And there's been a transition, again, from willpower, pushing yourself to get up and get out of bed, and, oh, God, I don't want to do this, but let me go do it, to why power, being pulled out of bed. Why am I here? What is my purpose, right? Why am I passionate about this? So we've moved from willpower to why power, and because of that, these are the three things that as you begin to measure them, the higher your score, the easier it will be to retain and recruit talent. Culture, purpose, impact. So that is a proprietary algorithm that we have. Happy to come in, but that is a proprietary algorithm that we have.
In a general sense, what kind of things do you look at to assess culture? Do you interview people, watch people?
Sure. So yes, we come in and we actually sit down with individuals, right? We do ride-alongs, if you will, right? We'll come down, we will sit with individuals, we'll sit with leaders in organizations, and then more importantly, we will sit with individuals who are not leaders, because that's the people who are on the ground floor, right? Those are the individuals who are in the trenches. Those are the individuals who really have an opportunity to tell you like it is. Because for some reason, as we tend to go up, right, we now start to drink the Kool-Aid, right? While I was at Apple, we called it the champagne because that's just how we were. But we begin to start to drink the Kool-Aid. So you've got to speak to the individuals who are in the trenches. Go ahead.
How is CPI Index similar or not similar to like the Gallup?
Sure. So Gallup has everything to do with your strengths, right? Everything to do with your strengths. And I think that it is vitally important to push individuals to their strengths. I am a Gallup coach as well, right? So it's all about your strengths, and it's all about pushing individuals to their strengths. And I dive into that a bit more whenever I now dive into the module of top talent recruiting, top talent, especially with regard to millennials, right? Because there is a part of the big six that work and life are absolutely critical to us, and one of them is strengths, right? And pushing to our strengths. Because we get and we understand that if I'm continuing to now push to a weakness, I'm not going to be passionate about it. It's not going to be purposeful for me, and I'm going to want to leave. So strength and now the CPI index are going to be two different things. The CPI index is now going to be based more on the company. Gallup's and StrengthsFinder is more based on the individual. Great question. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you all.